guys, Captain Bolduc with you, 2-3 Infantry Physical Therapist. This is video number 4 of our series on how to build a home gym. Okay, I just now caught my breath from video 2, so here we go. Up until now, we've talked about the rack. We've also talked about attachments for the rack. We've covered a lot of ground. Today, we want to talk about barbells. We want to talk about different types of plates. And then we want to finish up with talking about my dumbbell system here. Okay, so we're going to start out with 2 straight bars. I have 2 straight bars, and that's great to have because you can always keep one in the rack if you want to and have the other one elsewhere. So for example, this landmine attachment, I showed you some demonstrations the other day and had the barbell inside of that. Now that I'm not using that attachment, I can store it, and that's where it is right now. It's stored vertically in this upright storage, gets it out of the way and allows you to use that space now. Okay, so in terms of barbells, what do you want to look for? Okay, the first thing, how's that knurling? This is that roughed up spot right here that gives you good grip. There's a lot of friction in there. Compare that to this area right here. This is kind of a smooth, shiny surface. Not as good grip on that, okay? So that's something you want to consider, to have good knurling on it. But also, if you do a lot of back squatting, you might want some knurling in the center here, and that's going to help keep that bar on your back, placed where you want it, without sliding around too much. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing I want to show you is the end of that bar should spin pretty freely. A good bar will spin freely, okay? And that's important, especially if you're into exercises like the cleans, where at the top you gotta spin that bar, kind of get underneath that bar and rack that bar onto your shoulders. You want to be able to spin that freely, okay? And if that bar isn't doing this, it's going to be a difficult transition into the rack position, okay? So those are a couple things to consider there. Next, we're going to take a look at the hex bar. This is the Army's deadlift bar of choice, okay? As we all know. This one is nice because I can start from 2 different positions. I can start from flat with the bar, or I can flip it over and there's sort of a raised handle here on this side. So if I have restrictions of mobility in my hips or restrictions in my ankles, or starting from a higher position is just more friendly on my back, then I have that option and I can do that with this bar. So that's a great asset. Now, I'm going to show you some techniques that I use to load and offload the bars and to make life a little bit easier for you rather than having to try to lift and pull that way. So what I do is I take a 2.5 pound plate or a 5 pound plate and just roll it up on there. And now in subsequent plates, I can load and offload with about 3/4 inch space. Now that doesn't help me pull this one off, but this second technique does. That's using this deadlift jack, okay? Very well made, will probably last a couple lifetimes. All you do is put it up in there, rotate down, now I can pull subsequent plates and this plate right here off and on, and with about 3 to 4 inches of clearance underneath. Rotate down, pull away, and we're in business. Okay, so now I want to talk about plates. It's the second category today. These are bumper plates right here. Benefit of bumper plates, you can crash them into the ground and you're not going to damage the plate or the ground. So if you do a lot of lifting where you're crashing weights into the ground, this is a great option for you. However, there are downsides. Okay, less user friendly than the iron plates that I'm going to show you here in a minute. Also, and what I mean by that is you see the difference in width here. If I pull this off, in order to grip it, I need a pincer grip. I can do that with a 15 pound plate. Very difficult to do with a 45 pound wide grip, okay? So, difficult in handling, offloading and loading, but secondly, think about this 45 pound plate right here, how wide that is. If I want to load 500 pounds onto my belt squat, I'm going to run out of room very quickly, okay? So, a couple of downsides, but keeping in mind that if you're crashing weights down, nothing's better than a bumper plate. The second plate I want to show you, these are 6-shooter iron plates by Rogue. Notice there's six holes around the outside. Allows me to put my fingers through and really get a good grip. Very easy to load and unload that barbell. Okay, so if you're going to be doing exercises like the squat, like the bench press, where there's no interface with the ground, these are perfect, okay? Real easy to use. Now another thing, their width is consistent, okay? So take a look at these two. They're both 45-pound plates, but this iron plate is considerably less wide, about 1/3 of the width. So I can load a lot more weight in a smaller space with these. The last thing I like about these is I can do things outside of just loading and unloading barbells. I can grip this here and do lunges. I can do rotational core work, okay? I can do presses. I can do a lot more. I can do farmer's carries. You just have to be creative, okay? So great plates to have, actually both of them, just with differing benefits and downsides, okay? The last piece we're gonna show you is my dumbbell collection. This is it right here. This is the entire collection, okay? It's in a small footprint. This is a power block system. And how it works is I have anywhere from 15 to 90 pounds readily available to me, and it's color coded. So if I want 45 pounds, I find the green, push the pin through, pull it out. Now if I'm going to the club tonight, I get that biceps pump, okay? Rack it. If I want to switch that from 45 to 25, real quick and easy, lateral raises all day, okay? So very easy to use, very easy to switch out the weights, takes up very little space. I'm not taking up an entire wall of dumbbell rack, and very durable. I've had this about 6 years, use it very often, and doesn't rattle on me, and it's just it's a great piece to have with minimal space. I hope you're enjoying the content that we're putting out. We're going to continue to bring more video content to you and cover different areas of my home gym that I haven't covered yet. So stay tuned for more.